Yeah, I'm Matt, and this is Viv, and we're from the band Longboy. We're a Sacramento-based everything rock band. We've decided to start calling ourselves Odd Rock. Um, and I am the one of the guitarists as well as vocalist and kind of just whatever other instrument we need ist for the band, as well as helping with some of the composition for the songs.
Yeah, I'm Viv. I mainly just do like uh, the songwriting and rhythm guitar and vocals, and then we have Keaton, Ryan, and Chris. Chris does bass for us. Keaton does a lot of like uh, the composition as well as drums, and Ryan's our music theory guy
And guitar
and
legend.
guitarist. Yeah,
Yeah, he's definitely the best guitarist in the band.
yeah.
He's pretty epic. They're, of course, not here today. But on top of that, we also want to just give a quick shout out to Kaya Lang, who did a lot of the photography for the EP that we're releasing. She's just a good friend of ours and an amazing photographer.
Cool. Awesome. So where are you guys from originally, and what kind of got you guys into music and sort of, brought this band and collective group of artists together?
Oh man, that's kind of just a whole series of events right there. So we're all from Roseville, California, which is just outside of Sacramento. And I guess it really started, me and Viv both were involved in our high school's drama program. And just through that, we kind of happened to meet in the musical theater class. And that was my senior year and his sophomore year.
I think
sophomore
so.
year. So it was his sophomore year, my senior year. And it turned out that, we both were into music and stuff, and we both kind of had a similar style and interest in that. So eventually we just decided, hey, let's do a jam session sometime. And then from there we were like, hey, this sounds pretty good. We kind of like what we're doing. Maybe we should, actually figure out how to record some of this and put it together. So that's what we did. I threw some random, cheap Amazon Select or whatever Amazon brand junk I could find into my closet, and we turned that into somewhat of a recording booth. We started making some music. And yeah, from there, we sort of just put that out there for our friends and family to kind of enjoy. And we started to kind of just play some of the very local venues. There's a coffee shop in Roseville, Shady's. They do an open mic night, and they invited us there a couple times to be like a featured artist and stuff. And after we did that for a little bit, we finally got to like play a couple of limited real shows where we invited along, a drummer. And at that point, we decided we had to round up the band. So after our friend Paul Stammis kind of dropped out playing drums for us, we got Keaton, who's one of Viv's friends. His band had just kind of ended, so we invited him to join us. Ryan, we'd always wanted to work with from the start. We were both already friends with Ryan, independent of each other. And he was just always like an amazing guitarist. So we decided we wanted to work with him. We felt like at first we didn't really have a spot for him where his talents really honestly wouldn't be wasted. And we straight up said, hey, we want you in the band, but it's a waste of your time. So we worked on that for a little bit, kind of got to a better point, and we brought Ryan in the band, and then Chris was brought in the band. He's been a longtime friend of mine, and we've always talked about doing a band together. We just never did. And then the need for a bassist arose, and while he's primarily a guitarist, he's also somewhat of a bassist, so he fit the bill enough where we brought him in for the most recent EP.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was just that. The kind, I don't know what kind of music would we make. I would say we make a whole lot of stuff. I would say that I listen to a lot of different genres as well as Matt and like really everybody in the group. So we have some songs that's a lot of mix of things, and then like on the EP that we're gonna release soon, we have like some punk songs, and we have some
kind of more mellow soft rock, almost maybe
mellow soft rock, maybe. Yeah,
maybe soft rock. That might be a little bit stretch. And then one very interesting psychedelic track.
Yeah, it's a Beatles parody. It's great.
It's something, all right.
Yeah,
it was really fun to make.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
So you guys are very eclectic from the sound of it. You guys have variations of how you guys want to play your music, and it isn't necessarily put into a box or a genre, and you don't want to be categorized as something. Has that been sort of the motivation or the drive since the beginning that you've been making music, or has that kind of developed over time?
Yeah.
Yeah, Viv, go ahead. Because that's
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
Um, yeah, I used to really like folk music. I still do. So I would say that's kind of like the main building block that I start with.
And
But
that's pretty apparent too on the homemade EP that we did, which
yeah,
is Lakeshore Archives Volume One. Especially the song Thistle, which is yeah, especially the song Thistle, like the folk and almost sort of almost country vibe really comes through on that song. So yeah,
Cool.
but
yeah,
Viv, continue.
yeah. Sorry. So but then I don't know. I kind of whenever I listen to music, I really like to be like, hey, can I make something like this? And then I discovered Ween, and I was like, then it kind of just went just crazy after that. But yeah, I've always really liked the idea of being able to really just not fit in one genre and be able to do whatever you want. And I feel like if you gain a sort of uh, what is it? A sort of a
Appreciation.
reputation for that, then it's a lot easier to do that.
Yeah,
Cool.
for me, I've just always listened to a huge variety of music. That's just how I was kind of raised. So, you know, if you're listening to my Spotify playlist, you'll be listening to Pink Floyd 1 second, then you'll be listening to Eminem the next. You'll go over to like Willie Nelson, and then finish off with 100 Gex. It's just really everything.
Hmm.
And so for me, it's been mainly what can I make that sounds good versus what can I make that fits into this genre. It's not that I have a problem with genres or even labeling our music. It's just it's not a priority, I guess, for me.
Sure. That's cool. How does I don't know, I guess the new EP coming out, how do you describe that and how does that differ from the EPs that you made previously? And I guess does it showcase a different development in your guys' music and who you are as a band?
Yeah, absolutely. So the most glaring difference between that and anything that we have else out is that's the only thing. This is the first thing we have that's actually professionally recorded. So we went to Puss Caverns in Sacramento, and that's the same studio where Cake recorded The Distance and actually all of the Fashion Nugget album. And we worked with Joe Johnson, who's also the same engineer from that album. So it sounds way more polished. Additionally, with bringing in specifically, I'd say Keaton and Ryan, they just added another dimension to our music, I think, and really helped to round it out a bit. Um, and so it's just become a lot more interesting overall, I'd say, as well as having live drums. We've been able to do more nuanced stuff than having to work with, just preset loops like we were doing. So that gave us a little bit more creative control. Having Ryan there who knows more theory than really I think probably the rest of us combined, except maybe Keaton. Having him there to sort of add his own touch and also to add some more complexity through just that understanding and through his guitar playing, I think ultimately it's just become a way more interesting album and EP than anything else.
I would agree. Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Right on. And then for, I guess, releasing an album during this year, being something so unpredictable and just different than any other time that you guys have released music, what was the mindset going into that, wanting to release something this year with all the uncertainties, but at the same time putting so much time and effort into recording it, professional recording, polishing, putting a lot of effort into the album, but then still being like, hey, we're going to put it out, even though there's a certain air of uncertainty in the air?
Yeah,
I
it's a
think. Oh
lot.
yeah.
Should I go, Matt?
Yeah. Go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
okay. You can go after. Yeah, I think it's you have to think a lot more about safety and how you're gonna get around this obstacle in recording and stuff. Because yeah, it's not the same, and but at the same time, we want to like make sure that we uh follow the guidelines that are put in place and everything, and make sure that everyone's like good, because we don't really want to risk the well-being of like our peers and stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, you look at the NHL or the NBA; they have their bubbles for the playoffs, and that's sort of what we established with the band was that the band is kind of its own bubble. We're obviously not going to all avoid going to the grocery store if we need food or something like that, but we're not going to intentionally go out and do all this stuff that a lot of people maybe are doing with less regard for their safety. We were definitely trying to kind of limit it to our exposure being really just within the band. But then additionally, to kind of talk to the uncertainty and the decision to actually go ahead with this, it's for us, it was kind of somewhat do or die. That may be a bit extreme, but ultimately we're all, going off to college. And while we certainly want to see the band succeed and go farther, we aren't in a position right now. And it's too early in the band for any of us to really, expect it to go anywhere, or have any sort of expectations for it beyond it being something really fun that we're going to spend this year and maybe next year doing. So part of that was, if we're going to put something out, we might as well put it out now. We also had intended to release this back in, when was that? I want to say February, and we had a recording date set up.
Yeah.
We had a recording date set up, and I ended up getting sick with something that may or may not have been coronavirus. Probably not, but I don't know. It was weird, but I ended up getting sick. We had to cancel that date. We rescheduled, and I think a couple days after a couple days before we were supposed to go in was when all the shutdowns were announced. And that actually pushed us back even farther. So at that point, it was kind of, we're already ready to do this. We have all this material. We just kind of need to do it and get something out there. At this point, it's now been over a year since we've released anything. And we don't really want to do anything in the closet just because that sounds weird out of context, but in the recording studio, which we refer to as the closet because it's, you can't see it, but it's very literally a closet. We don't really want to do anything in there because at this point people know what we're capable of doing in there, and it's not very polished. We need to put something out that really showcases it. Additionally, I saw it as somewhat of an opportunity where there's no longer sort of the competition or the expectation amongst bands to perform live. And that makes it a little easier to get our music seen by people because they're not going to say, well, what's your live show history? Because there isn't any anymore. Sure, they could ask us about previous stuff, but we can say, because it's what we were doing, we were ramping up live shows right before everything shut down. So ultimately it just came down to, we have to put something out. We might as well go all out with it. And honestly, it works out for us to do it. And in the worst case scenario, given our expectations, we don't really lose anything by doing that because it's still something fun that we've gotten to do that we're all very proud of and happy with.
Cool. Awesome. So earlier you described your music as like, odd
rock.
Yeah, odd rock. There you go.
Rock.
Yeah. How would you, I guess, describe the song structure and different things like that for someone who wants to get into your band, and maybe just give a little bit of backstory on like what your songs are about, and if someone wants to go check out Longboy, what are they, going to expect?
Yeah, go ahead, Viv.
I don't know. I am not super experienced with song structure or anything. Like I know
your songs
have
impeccable structure, Viv.
Do they?
Yeah, they do. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Viv refuses to compliment himself, and it's actually we all do. Everyone in the band refuses to compliment themselves except Keaton. Keaton will totally go out there and say, "Yes, I'm amazing."
Keaton tells it how it is.
He does.
So okay, I guess I inadvertently know song structure, but I don't really go into writing anything with that in mind. But I don't know. I'd say a lot of it is kind of just like where I'm at now. That's where it's about. Like, I don't know, just the teenage years, man. Teenage angst, all that good stuff. And I mean, we have bigger topics, but if I'm gonna make our songs into a monolith, I'll say that. But yeah, it's really that. We do a lot of just like we pull a lot of like inspiration from just stuff that was going on during like when we were younger. Like Ryan's got pop punk, Matt's
Ryan is absolutely in love with pop punk.
Yes, he loves pop punk. And I love him for that.
I pull from like a lot of 90s sort of alt rock for when I come up with stuff and when I'm kind of directing it. Bare Naked Ladies, Gin Blossoms, Sugar Ray. I guess Sugar Ray is kind of alt rock. Just a lot of the old 90s stuff. Keaton pulls a lot from like dream pop more, or even, well, I guess not really for our music, but he's certainly inspired a lot by like rap and EDM, as well as just kind of general lo-fi stuff, which I think the lo-fi comes through on some stuff. I think that makes its way in there. Chris is very into sort of indie, like acoustic, and a sort of mellower sound, as well as he draws from some of the same classic rock inspirations that I do as well.
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty big on alternative as well. I really like Pixies, Weezer. I really like the new sort of like indie pop that's going on right now, like things like Peach Pit and Gus Dapperton and stuff. I really like those people.
I guess to say to somebody who's kind of curious what it is, it's going to sound sort of typical. It's going to be like sort of that general rock bass, and then if we want to take it in like a punk direction, we'll have Ryan, throw some heavier guitar in there, and it'll definitely get more of a punk sound. Alternatively, we're going to take, that very generic rock bass, and we're going to do something really weird with it, like throw in a melodica, which for anyone who doesn't know, the best way to describe it is it's a mouth piano that you play. It sounds sort of like an accordion. So that's on one of our songs on the EP, Lady Guadalupe. That's where that's featured. So ultimately, it's going to be a very listener-friendly experience that just has our own twist thrown on it.
Yeah, we're not like super experimental yet. That's for our.
we joke that we're gonna, 2 albums down the road, just go off the cliff with experimental stuff.
It's all day.
Yeah, that's cool. Sweet. So, I mean, as we wrap up, you want to give some more information on, your new EP coming out Friday, right? So in a couple of days, and just kind of, that's all about, and where people can find you and listen to your music.
Yeah, so the EP coming out is Lakeshore Archives Volume 2, and it's definitely a follow-up to the first one, which was homemade. This one's, again, professionally recorded. It's coming out Friday, and it's a 5-song EP. We had most of the stuff that we were going to put on it done around February, and then that got postponed, so we went through and kind of took a break. Summer rolled around, and we completely revamped it. We brought in the rest of the band to go over it with us and really polished it up. We're really, really, really happy with it. And it's just a really fun album of kind of some more upbeat songs.
Wait for the next one, though.
Oh, yeah. The next one's going to be crazy, too. But Lakeshore Archives Volume 2 is coming out October 2nd. It's going to be available on Spotify, Apple Music, pretty much all the major platforms. As well as we actually have a CD release going on right now, just a few limited CDs that we threw together a couple weekends ago. And those are $5 on our website, which is longboymusic.com. And yeah, it's a really fun album. I think it showcases what we're capable of, as well as, just being kind of easy to listen to. And yeah, we're really excited.
Cool. And then like social handles or anything, you want people to follow you?
Yes, we would love people to follow us. Instagram is longboy_CA. Facebook, we don't use Facebook. Twitter, I believe, is also longboy_CA. And then I don't think we need to plug the other one.
What's that? BandLab, Bandcamp? What? Streamlabs?
Oh, I was going to say TikTok, but...
Oh. No,
I believe
done anything on TikTok.
We haven't really done anything on TikTok, but yeah, longboy_CA on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram's definitely where we're the most active, though.
Okay, cool, awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you guys for
thank you so
down.
much.
I look forward to it. Yeah, it's.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Of course, no problem.